Well, good morning, all you beautiful traders out there. It is Friday, July 19th, end of another week. I'm Jonathan Van Kloot, and I would like to remind you real quick to give me a like on this video. Give me a thumbs up down below if you find it interesting, useful, entertaining, annoying. Basically, if you find it. If you're here, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you wouldn't mind, if you would like to be kept up to date on what's going on in the future. And in addition, of course, give me feedback, any comments, any symbols you'd like looked at, or anything I can do to help you in your trading. Please do let me know. That is what I'm doing these for. I don't need to do these videos for myself, but I enjoy doing them for you. So I hope that people get something out of them and people enjoy them and hopefully find them helpful. So anyway, with that, let's jump in and take a look at the S&P 500, because that is where I always like to start. And it's kind of funny because the last few days, really, there's been a lot of doom and gloom, going around in some of the various trading groups that I kind of hang out in, lurk in, and monitor to keep a pulse on what other traders are thinking. And some of these groups are much more experienced and knowledgeable traders who actually really know what they're doing and what they're talking about. And others of them, not so much more beginners who don't really know what they're doing yet and tend to go with the crowd, go with the news, things like that. So they're usually wrong. But anyway, there's been a lot of doom and gloom sentiment recently about this. 2 whole down days and, it's the end of the world. Kind of funny. And they're not even huge down days. They just feel huge because we haven't had a lot of range lately. We've been in kind of a tight market recently. Hasn't been hugely volatile. The volatility, the VIX has come way down recently. And so these kind of feel big. But in the big scheme of things, no pun intended, they're really not that big. And in fact, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. That has not changed yet. So we are at an important area, though, because we've got, if I just start from the low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, but only just barely. It was close. And that is our kind of key line in the sand right now in the short term. We do have a nice uptrending line, which I moved. This uptrend line did previously go along here, the bottoms of these wicks. But I'm adjusting it because we have still made a higher low. So it's reasonable to adjust the trend line. If this had broken this low, then, I wouldn't just adjust the trend line. I would have to wait until this move is finished and turned around before I just completely rethought the whole trend. And it would probably have to be from, down here or something like that. But we didn't do that. We did not violate this low. Right now, we actually came back up sharply. This morning, we don't have any clear direction yet overnight. It's been very flat. We've ended right where we started. Had some movement overnight. I mean, you can see the wicks there, but not a lot of action ultimately as of right now. Anyway, everybody is just very neutral and not sure where we're going to go yet. So do we head higher? Do we head lower? That is the key question. And right now on a daily basis, if you're a swing trader, longer term trader, we are smack dab in the middle. We are right dead center. So, maybe not the best place to enter right now unless your risk parameters really support, having a stop way down here. But right now we need to see what's going to happen. Is it going to break the low? Is it going to break the high? Which is it going to do? Now, my analysis, of course, I am projecting and so forth, so could always be wrong. And if that happens, we will adjust. But my analysis is that we are in a wave 3 up, and wave 1 completed here, wave 2 completed here, and now we're in a wave 3 up. More so than that, if we take a look at here, so here's those same 2 waves, 1 and 2, right? That's this right here. And it appears to me that what we really have, if we go to a smaller time frame on the 60-minute chart, we have a smaller time frame, wave 1 up, wave 2 down, correction, that's fine. And that would be this here, right? But then we have what I believe at the moment anyway, subject to change. My analysis is we have a wave 3-1 up, a wave 3-2 down, and we're about to head, or we're heading now into a wave 3-3 up. And so that is a wave 3 of a wave 3. Okay, that's kind of significant. That is potentially a very large wave to the upside. So we might have some serious upside. How serious? Well, take a look at this. If I zoom way out, squeeze the price way down so I can actually fit it on here, we are looking at potentially on the ES that 3,300 level, which has been being talked about a bit by other people. And obviously, we're already up over the previous all-time highs, but then we pulled back off of them. So we made new all-time high, pulled back off of them, and people started freaking out saying, oh, the all-time highs didn't hold, etc. But it's higher low. Uptrend's still intact. There's not a problem here yet. So right now, significant major target is around that 3,300 level. Will we get there? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But it's looking, reasonably probable. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going in the big picture with the uptrend direction, and you can see it on the 60-minute time frame very clearly. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We're just marching along, making a beautiful higher highs and higher lows. So if we are in fact in a wave 3 of 3 right now, then this is looking really good for a nice continuation to the upside. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But right now, anyway, all analysis, as far as I'm concerned, is to the upside. Oscillator momentum is strong. Now, this is a very minor concern, but it did suggest maybe a pullback, which we got. Frankly, we had higher highs, but look at the oscillator. It did not make higher highs. Divergence. And then we got a pullback. So as far as I'm concerned, the promise of this divergence has been fulfilled. That was this here. So I'm not especially looking to this and going, oh my God, the sky is going to fall or anything like that. No, I don't see a problem yet. Now, we break this low, I see a problem. Then I start to rethink my whole opinion of the market from a very different perspective. And absolutely, we break that low and no question. I mean, the trend has turned. Absolutely, it is now a bear trend. No question. But I don't believe that's going to happen for what that's worth. What are my beliefs worth? Nothing. As has been said, you don't trade the market, you trade your beliefs in the market, and ultimately the market doesn't care what you believe. It's going to do what it's going to do. So you just have to roll with it. All right. So anyway, all technical signs are up. 50, 13, oscillator, 60-minute oscillator, MACD. I mean, everything is still up. Everything's above the zero line. MACD did cross below its signal line here, but again, I believe that promise was fulfilled. We had our pullback. So there you go. Got to continue now. All right, RTY, Russell 2000. This is the market that I trade the most, actually. And for newer traders, especially, if you're new, I know I get a lot of questions, or I have been getting more questions recently, especially from newer traders and asking what they should start with, what they should trade. And a lot of time they're drawn to Forex, and I think it's because Forex has such huge margin. You can get into it. You can have a $100 account, and theoretically, anyway, you could trade Forex, but you're going to lose it. You're absolutely going to blow that account out. You don't know what you're doing, which most people don't, especially when they start. Nobody knows what they're doing when they start. The newer traders, I recommend very strongly that you look at futures if you want to day trade specifically. But even if you want to swing trade, there are new micro contracts. The micro contracts are awesome. They're a great training wheels product. I've been dabbling with them a little bit so I can try to swing trade futures more. I don't have a huge account. I have a pretty modest account, so swing trading the micros is very doable for me. Anyway, it's a long discussion. I can't get into it now, but check out the micro futures contracts. They are, I think, a really great product that was very badly needed and a great thing for beginners. And they've only been around for, 2 months now, a little over 2 months. So they are really super new. Anyway, in the Russell 2000, we have been chopping around, right? This has been just a messy, nasty period. I got bit a couple times in here. I mean, ultimately, I'm up. I'm green on all the trades I made in here net, but I did have some losers in here because of this whippy choppiness. But interestingly, it's less clear if you look at it on the daily chart. But if you look on the 60 chart, look at what we have here. We have a very nice parallel channel, also known as a flag pattern. So if this is in fact a bull flag, then the next move should be to the upside. But to get that, we have to break these highs here. We do that, it signifies continuation to the upside, and we can expect to take out that high and march higher. How much higher? Well, my analysis at the moment is that this is the end of wave 1 and wave 2 is the end of this flag. And so that's our wave 4 here on the 60-minute time frame. Can I zoom out a little bit more? Let me see. I'm not sure if I can. Nope, I'm zoomed out max already. Anyway, I do believe that this is the end of the wave 4 in this flag, and it could continue in this parallel channel for a little while longer. We don't know yet. It did last night. I was looking at it when price was kind of down here, and then it sure enough has just drifted up higher, closer to the top of the channel, and then people got nervous and it started to sell off again. So momentum is not huge to the upside. It seems to be a little bit higher to the downside. So I wouldn't be terribly shocked if there's a little bit more downside to come. But looking on a daily basis, we do have, once again, from down here, much like the ES, higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and a higher low. So right now, anyway, again, nothing to worry about, even though a lot of people doom and gloom, they see these relatively big red candles and they think, uh-oh, all signs are pointing down, and they're really not. All signs are actually still pointing up. If we wonder where this might go, if this is in fact the end of wave 1, end of wave 2, if I zoom way out, you can see that we've got a potential target up around here. There's our 161.8. And what else is right at about that level? Oh, look at that. We have a sell zone right there, right about roughly there. Just eyeball it. So I don't think it's actually unreasonable at all to get up there. Now, to do that, we have to get over this first. This is our first major obstacle. After that, there's not much. We just kind of have a bunch of little stuff. And there will be little pauses and momentary hiccups and stuff along the way. But as long as we can get over that, I think this market's got some significant upside. So once again, much like the ES, I am looking to trade more to the long side than the short side right now. Then again, as a day trader, I might do both. Just got to recognize that your short trade's going to be shorter lived, no pun intended. So just got to be ready to jump out of the way. All right, let me reset this. Okay, so anyway, there's my bias. Whoops, it is to the upside. And oscillator momentum did drain out of this a little bit on the daily, but we had a little bit of a pullback. So that fits. That's perfectly suited to this. But again, we don't have any significant break of a higher low. So everything is still heading to the upside. All right, let's take a peek at crude oil. And crude has done something interesting and has caused me to have to adjust a few things here. In fact, I forgot to move this here. Let me move this tag. I'm going to move this down here. And here is what I see right now in crude. We had a bit of a sell-off here, and it looks ugly. Again, some people are saying, oil is crashing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But look what it pulled back to. 61.8. I mean, on the dot. Absolutely on the dot. 61.8 of wave 3. That is textbook what we look for. That is what we were expecting. So I don't see a problem. I mean, and once again, if you look on the smaller time frame, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got everything textbook. So I don't see a problem here. We've even got it pulling back the wick right here, just to within the wick of wave 1. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a kiss, and that's fine. So I do believe that we have one more push up for a wave 5. Now, wave 5 might double top. Sometimes it does that. Ideally, a more textbook wave 5 would get a bit beyond. It would be an extension beyond wave 3. And lo and behold, what do we have up here? We have more or less a sell zone right up there. I'm just eyeballing it, obviously. But basically, this area here around 64-ish is where a reasonable point for wave 5 to end. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets up there. So looking for continuation. In fact, I've even got my 5 up here because that's about where I'm expecting it to be, somewhere in there. If it's especially strong, if it's an especially strong wave 5, maybe it gets up to the sell zone up here. I mean, that could happen too. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, the bottom line is I'm looking for continuation to the upside. So far this morning, we have uncertainty. We don't have any clear-cut direction yet. But the day is young, and people are just getting started. So if we get some upside momentum, if we get green, for example, especially if the 60 crosses the 0 line at this level after kissing the 61.8, then absolutely long is the way to go. So watch for that. There could be a nice trade opportunity setting up here. If the 13 can get over the 50 on the 60-minute time frame, that would be another great indication. Or the MACD line crossing the 0 line, that would be another one. MACD line did already cross its signal line right when, this is the kind of thing you need to look for, right when that 61.8 kissed, we had our MACD cross the signal line. I mean, beautiful textbook signal right there. I don't generally actively trade this market. If I did, though, that is a perfect, absolutely beautiful textbook retracement and bounce. So, yeah, there could be a nice opportunity shaping up in crude if we get some continuation to the upside. All right, let's take a look at gold. And gold, oh, looky there. Gold went spike, jumped right up into that area. I actually jumped up here and then pushed down. I actually shot up first and then pushed down. But the bottom line is gold has broken out of this pennant pattern, you want to call it here, pennant, flag, wedge, triangle, whatever you want to call it, but it's broken to the upside. Yes, there were sellers that pushed it down, but they didn't push it down very far. It's still up there. It's still up in the highs of this area. So I'm watching for continuation to the upside here. I definitely believe that there is room to go higher. This instant anyway, the momentum has kind of drained out, but look, it's starting to turn and hook back around to the upside again. And we did have a pullback and a choppy, wedgy pullback, but we did have a pullback here. So I feel that the promise of this lowering oscillator has been fulfilled. And I think we're done here. I think we have popped higher. You can see it really well on the 60 right there. And now, as long as we hold, if we pull back to test this, I'm fine with that. As long as that holds and we start to head higher, then no problem. I see more continuation to the upside. So there is, there be gold in them dar hills. Well, there's room to the upside for gold, I do believe. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how it goes. All right, now natural gas. I have changed my views a little bit on natural gas. This morning, as I was doing my pre-analysis, I kind of changed my tune a little bit on natural gas because of the depth of this pullback. Initially, when this was just chopping around sideways, I was thinking that this was probably the end of our wave 3, and then we had just a wave 4, and we are going to have one more wave 5 to the upside. But this market pulled back a little bit more strongly, and if we see where it pulled back to, if I do a retracement of the whole cycle, right about there, we can see it went right to the 61.8 and then popped right back above it. So this is, again, much like I believe it was crude oil. This is a textbook retracement, absolutely perfect textbook retracement. And at that bottom there as well, at the 61.8, we had, again, a MACD cross of the signal line. Now, right now, it's just kind of kissing that signal line. It hasn't bounced strongly, so perhaps there's a little bit more downside to come. I'd want to wait for some bullish confirmation. Right now, we do not yet have higher highs and higher lows, but we could very, very soon. If we get that, then I do believe that the next cycle to the upside is beginning, and we can look for a wave 1 up and 2 down, 3 up, etc. So that is my current thought process. Now, one thing that is reasonable, but is just of note, is that if this is the end of wave 3, it's a pretty shallow wave 3. It didn't even reach the 161.8. But that being said, it is longer than wave 1. So, just barely, but it is longer. So, it's okay. It just barely qualifies. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at, is just more upside to come in natural gas. This uptrend is intact. I don't see a problem with it, as long as, this is the key, as long as this low is not violated. As long as that low holds, we don't get any lower than that, then we're good to go. Upside is definitely the way to trade. Okay, let's go finish up with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, last night I was noticing Bitcoin made a funny pattern. I call it the camel pattern. You could also call it sort of like the Brontosaurus pattern or something like that, but you got a nice little tail here, and then back leg, 2 humps, front legs, and then a nice big long neck and snout. It's kind of funny. Not that it means anything, it's just cute. So bottom line though is, I do believe, if you noticed my video the other day, I changed my thoughts on this because we did break this low, but now it looks like it is a more textbook A, B, C retracement, in which case we're now looking for a final wave to the upside. I do believe that we had the end of a weekly 3 here, which means we have the end of a weekly 4. In fact, my little label is down here. I will call this, well, yeah, weekly C is fine. So weekly C, also the end of a weekly 4, which means our next move is a weekly 5 to the upside, which could be significant on a weekly basis. So we may get up to push. This might be the push in the next few months here for getting to the all-time highs, getting to challenge that 20,000 level. I don't think that is actually out of the question at all. I think that is actually very much a real probability. So we do need, of course, to get over that high, that weekly high. That is absolutely the target that we're gunning for. We got to get over that. As long as this low holds, then everything is good for the uptrend. We are just fine. Right now, as you can see from this bottom of this retracement here, higher high, higher low, higher high so far, higher low, and we are breaking to the upside this morning. So if we can take out that high on the 60-minute, I would look for more continuation to the upside. that's all there is to it. Crypto is looking beautifully bullish. The bull market very much intact, and we are still heading higher. So, for me personally, anyway, that is a good thing. I certainly do have a bullish bias, and I am long a number of cryptos. So, crypto market heading up is good for me, as is gold and, well, really anything, because I don't care what direction things go. I'll trade it both ways. So that is it for me this morning. Jonathan Van Kloot, again, reminding you to please give me a thumbs up if you found this video informational, educational, entertainable, anything like that. And subscribe to my channel if you would like to be kept up to date on what I got going on in the future. And throw any feedback down in the comment box below. I love getting your feedback. So if there's anything else I can do to help you out in your trading, do let me know, and I will do my best. Alrighty, I will do this again on Monday. Since it is a Friday, you have yourself a great weekend. If you are in the markets today, have yourself a great day. And hope you make it a green one. Hope you have a fantastic weekend wherever you are, and get ready to pick it up and do battle again on Monday. So I'll be back Monday morning again, 5:30 a.m. to do this all over again. Have a good one. Trade well, everybody. Bye-bye.